I'm very excited today. I'll start again. I think it's
Yes,
after
sir.
I
Yes,
start.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can start now, sir.
we can start now. We can start now. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm very much excited today because I have some very exciting news to share with you. We have recently published a paper, the first of its kind from India, which has very good news for everyone with type 1 diabetes and their families in India. So, what's the good news? We have published the first paper from India on long term survival in type 1 diabetes. Nobody knew how long children with type 1 diabetes can live in India because it's not been reported earlier. So, a group of researchers from all over India got together. We took the lead at this at the Madras Diabetes Research Foundation and Dr. Mohan's Diabetes Specialty Center. And we were able to collect 76 people with type 1 diabetes who had got diabetes when they were children and lived for a minimum of 40 years. In fact, they're all still alive now. And within this 76 people, almost all of them, of course, had crossed 40 years of diabetes. About 12 of them had crossed 50 years of diabetes. Six of them had crossed 60 years of diabetes. And two of them had lived for 70 years or more with type 1 diabetes, and they are still alive. In fact, the oldest person that we know from India is 88 years old and has diabetes for 72 years. And the second oldest is just younger, 87 years, and he also has lived for 70, 71 years with diabetes. That means they both got it when they were teenagers. And today they are nearing 90 years of age. The eldest is now crossed 88 and is running his 89th year. Very soon he'll be 90 years old. And I'm waiting for the day when these people cross 100 years of age and create history by having type 1 diabetes, which they developed in childhood and then went on to live up to 100 years of age. We must all celebrate this when it occurs. How did this happen? Of course, the miracle of insulin, because all of them took insulin, and but for that, they would not have lived even for more than a few months. But now they're able to live for decades and decades and decades. We also had in the same paper 41 people who had died with type 1 diabetes, but they didn't live up to 40 years. So if anybody lived for less than 40 years, we call them as the non-survivor group, and the others we call them as the survivor group. And when we looked at the survivors and non-survivors, what we found was that the survivors had better diabetes control, their HbA1c was better, they took their insulin shots more regularly, the amount of insulin they took also was slightly higher, they had grown much better, they were taller and heavier and much healthier than the non-survivors. And of course, because of their good glucose control and also blood pressure control and cholesterol control, they did not develop complications. So they didn't have much of heart disease or feet damage or eye or kidney damage. Whereas those who did not survive, some of them died quite early, 5, 10, because they were very irregular with insulin, went into diabetic ketoacidosis coma and died. Some of them lived for longer, 10, 20 years or so, but by the time their kidneys failed, and the commonest cause of death was kidney failure and heart disease. So I must congratulate these survivors and also thank all my collaborators from India who had given us their case material and the details of their patients. And we put this all together, and it's a pan-India publication on survival of type 1 diabetes. The first such report from India. I'm very happy to have taken the lead in this, and I'm sure that many more people will join this. In July of 2021, we conducted a very important function again for the first time in India, where we conferred the Dr. V. Mohan Gold Medal for defeating diabetes. We call it as Victory Over Diabetes Medal. This was presented by Dr. Jitendra Singh, who was a union minister in the Prime Minister's office, and he holds many positions, including the in charge portfolio of the science and technology. So Dr. Jitendra Singh virtually attended this and gave away the gold medals and the certificates to the survivors. This year, we had restricted it to those who had completed 60 years or more. And we had 8 such people, 2 of whom, as I said, had completed 70 years of diabetes. So the good news I'm trying to tell everyone with type 1 diabetes is that don't worry about it if your child or your brother or sister or anyone or you yourself have been diagnosed to have type 1 diabetes. The future is very bright. Imagine when these people 60 years ago or 70 years ago had started treatment, there was no blood sugar testing equipment, and they had to test urine sugar only. They had the crudest of animal insulins, which used to produce all kinds of reactions. And despite that, they have all lived for 60, 70 years. You are living today in a much better condition when we have glucose monitoring, we have continuous glucose monitoring or CGM. We have the best of insulins. Even weekly insulin is going to come. So I would say that the future is very bright for everyone with type 1 diabetes. And I look forward to a time or to a date when insulin itself may not be necessary and we get a total cure for type 1 diabetes. But right now, insulin is your savior. So please visit your doctor. One of the things we found with the survivors is they're all regularly coming to the clinic, whereas those who did not survive, they were very irregular. They didn't meet the diabetologist. They didn't go to the clinic. At least 3 to 4 visits a year is a must if you want to have a long and healthy life with any form of diabetes, and particularly type 1 diabetes. So I thought I should share this good news with you, and I would love to have your feedback. We will provide our email ID after this video. Please do send us your feedback. And if you know of any others in India who have completed 60, 70 years of diabetes or even above 50 years of diabetes, do write to us, and we'll be very happy to honor them in the future. Thank you very much. Okay, so that is done.
Yes, sir. We can go to next one.
Okay, so the next one I thought of was HbA1c. Okay. Next one I thought of was HbA1c. Now, 12:15, I have to be there for the inauguration. I'll quickly try to do this. Shall I do the re-reversal one itself? Can I finish it quickly? I'll see whether I can finish it quickly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll finish that talk, that is important.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We can also continue after the inauguration if there is time, or in the evening also with 1 or 2 more videos if you like. If there are any other topics for videos that you have selected, that also you can let me know. Now, shall I just share my screen now, or what should I do?
Yes, sir. You can share your screen, sir.
Okay. The only thing is I don't see myself when I make it full screen, no? So should I first
yes, sir.
say something and then share my screen? That will be better, no?
Yes, sir.
Will I still come at the side? Or?
Yes, sir. If you're presenting, you will come at the side, sir.
Okay. I'll just say a few words and then say I'm presenting my screen, and then I'll start. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I want to give you a very important message based on years of my experience in the field of diabetes. During the last few years, there's been a lot of talk about reversal of diabetes. Every time in social media, I find people talking about reversal of diabetes. So the first thing that I want to ask you or to tell you is, do I believe in reversal of diabetes? Of course, I believe in reversal of diabetes. But I want to tell you what is the truth behind the reversal of diabetes, and therefore I'm going to make a small presentation now, and I'll show you some slides. So the topic of my presentation is diabetes reversal. Is it a hype or is it a reality? And let's look at these facts. Now, this is a figure which all of you must keep in your mind. What we talk about clinical diabetes, what is shown here as clinical diabetes, is actually the third stage in the natural history of diabetes. So when you're born, we don't have diabetes. So we are in the stage of normal glucose tolerance. Then there is a stage of pre-diabetes, and then we move to the stage of diabetes. Some people, unfortunately, go on to the stage of complications. So that is how the natural history of diabetes keeps going. So we go from left to right. We keep going like this. And of course, at each stage, prevention is possible. You can hold it at that stage or that stage or that stage or that stage. Even after develop complications, at least without going to the end stage of complications, you can try to hold yourself. But what about reversal? When you talk about reversal, obviously, we are going in the opposite direction. So after coming here, having diabetes, this is what we call a stage of diabetes. Can you go back to a stage of pre-diabetes, or even better, to a stage of normal glucose tolerance? Is this possible at all? Okay.
So
Yeah?
the slides are not
Oh.
coming, sir.
Oh no, now you're telling me. Okay. Why the hell didn't it come? Unlike in Zoom, I can put share screen. Here, what is the thing that I have to show? Where is share button is there? Okay. Right. There's a share button. I have to put that, share screen, and then let me try. Share screen. Then put this. Now it's coming. Now? Harish? Can't hear you, man. I've lost you. I'm not hearing you.
Sir, we are able to hear you, sir, clearly.
But I'm not able to hear you. When I'm asking you questions, you're not answering. How do
No,
you
no,
expect?
this is Sundar here, sir. This is Sundar here. So I think he has lost, sir. I mean, Hari has lost.
Oh,
Hari?
he is lost. He's not sitting with you.
No, sir. He is in home, I think. Sir.
Oh.
Okay. So probably network connection is having some problem.
I am here, sir. Who's that now? I'm here, sir.
1 second, sir.
Please write your name when you say I am here. sir.
Hari, I think so, sir.
Hear me
Hari, I
now,
think
sir?
so. Yeah. Hari, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I didn't put the share. That's what it
Something.
is. Okay, then let me not try it. I'll put the share and start with that. That'll be better instead of trying to talk earlier.
Yes, sir.
Share screen.
No, sir. The beginning you have already introduced, sir. So what I'll do is once you share the screen, you just start speaking from the slide perspective itself, so that I can edit off.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll be editing it, so
Now
I
is
can
it-
edit it.
Now is it seen or not? No. See, this way I'm losing you now. You're not telling me.
No, sir.
Oh. Then how do I share? It's not lighting up share. I think I must put that on. Now share. Now share. Now.
Sundar, sir,
Come on, I say.
can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, but now Sundar is gone. What is this here? No coordination between you all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, Sundar is not there. If you come, he's not
So
there.
slide
He
is
comes
coming,
here.
sir.
Huh?
Sir, I'm here only, sir. I'm here only.
Then tell me, no. What the hell? If
No,
you
sir,
keep
because
quiet,
we have not added in the stream. That is why, sir.
Now you're both there.
Yes, sir. We are both there.
You can see
Yes,
me
sir.
also.
We both are here.
Perfect, sir.
I can't
Yes,
see
sir.
myself.
We can see you and the
No,
slide, sir.
we didn't switch on the camera, sir. That is why, sir.
Okay. No.
No,
I can't
Sundar,
see
sir.
myself.
Sundar, sir. Sir is presenting. So he
Okay.
he can't see anyone actually.
I
So
can't
he
see
can only
anyone.
see the slides.
Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes, sir. We are
Yes, sir.
able to see you, sir.
Then I'll just
We can
continue
see
with
you
this.
and the slides, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then that's good. Now I'm going to start now. Okay. So in this talk, I'm going to talk about diabetes reversal and explain to you whether it's a hype or a reality. Now, when you look at the natural history of type 2 diabetes, we know that what we call as diabetes is actually the third stage in the natural history of diabetes. So if you go from left to right, when we are born, we are in the stage of normal glucose tolerance. Then we move to a stage of pre-diabetes, and then to a stage of clinical diabetes, that is diabetes. And then finally, of course, a stage of complication. We don't want anyone to go there, but people develop eye, kidney, heart, and other complications. At each of these stages, prevention is possible. You can block it there or there or there or there. But what if you have already developed diabetes? Can you reverse it now? Can you go to pre-diabetic stage, or from pre-diabetes to normal stage, or even from clinical to normal stage? That is, now we have to go from the right to left. And that is a new focus. And that is what reversal of diabetes is all about. In fact, the correct term for reversal, which the American Diabetes Association and others are recommending, is remission. And I'll talk about that. Now, for years, we have been saying diabetes is progressive. Within 10 years, 50% will need insulin. It's only treatable. It's not curable. It's not reversible, and so on. So what has happened now to say that diabetes is reversible? Let me tell you that there are 5 situations, probably more, where reversal of diabetes can occur. After severe weight loss, and this is what I'm going to talk about today, by diet, exercise, particularly by diet, severe caloric restriction or low carbohydrate diet. Second is, if you've had pregnancy diabetes, gestational diabetes, after the delivery, the diabetes may go away. After bariatric surgery, if you lose 40, 50 kilos after bariatric surgery, many people can revert back to diabetes. Stress-induced diabetes. You've heard a lot about this during COVID. People get terribly stressed, or they have anxiety, depression, something. And now if you treat it, it can go away. Finally, drug-induced diabetes. This also you heard a lot during COVID. Steroid-induced diabetes. If you stop the steroids, the diabetes may go away. I'm not going to talk about 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are all different talks, which I'll give later. Today, I'm going to talk about after severe weight loss, without surgery, just by weight loss, can you reverse diabetes? As I said, the American Diabetes Association has just published a massive paper where they have put down all the definitions. And what they are saying is, don't use the word reversal, use the word remission. Why? Because you may go back, as I showed you in the earlier slide. If you are in this stage of you're gone from here to there, from clinical diabetes to normal, you may also go back from there to there. And that is what I call as reversal. And I'll come back to that later. So the American Diabetes Association says to use the word remission. And what does remission mean? One should not be a person who already had diabetes and was on medication, now should stop all medication and still have a HbA1c less than 6.5 or a fasting less than 126 for at least 3 months. Then we can say that they are in remission. Some studies use even 1 year to define remission, but same less than 6.5 HbA1c. Now, what are the diets through which this can be achieved? One is called as the low carbohydrate diet. The other is a very low calorie diet. This is LCD and this is VLCD. Okay. Normally in India, we take about 60-70% carbohydrate. That is why we have so much of diabetes. Rice in the south and east, and wheat in the north and in the west. Moderate carbohydrate is 26 to 44%. Low carbohydrate is less than 26% or less than 130 grams per day. And very low carbohydrate is only 20 to 50 grams per day and less than 10% carbohydrate. Nobody in India can survive on this because very few people can survive without carbohydrate. Also, it will mean that when you take such low carbohydrate, you'll end up taking 80% fat, which is not very good for you. It can increase your cholesterol and lead to heart attacks and so on. Now, the other way to do it, this is through the carbohydrate route. The other is through the calorie route. So if you take very low calorie diet, less than 800 calories per day, people have more than 800 calories in one meal itself. This is the whole day. When you divide it, it should be less than 800. And for at least 12 weeks, if you do this, you may be able to reverse it. So the question is, can diabetes be reversed by very low calorie diet or low carbohydrate diet? Now, what happens is when you start reducing your diet so much, very dramatically. There is a sudden fall in the liver fat. It is the liver fat and the fat in the pancreas which produce diabetes. That we know very well. The first few days itself, the liver fat will fall, and within about 8 weeks' time or 2 months' time, the pancreatic fat will also go. Once it happens, what happens is your plasma glucose will drop, your production of glucose in the liver will go down, and your fat, that is the triglycerides in the liver, will also go down. Did you know that diabetes is caused, type 2 diabetes is caused by less than 1 gram in the pancreas? If you just have 1 gram of fat in the pancreas, you'll get diabetes. But you want to get rid of that 1 gram, in 15 kilos you have to lose, and only then you can reverse diabetes. This was shown by what's called as a direct trial, or the diabetes remission clinical trial, which was carried out in the UK in Newcastle by Professor Roy Taylor and colleagues. What they showed was that when they put people on a very low calorie diet, 46% of the participants went into diabetes remission, whereas in the control group only 4% went. Note that even after putting this low calorie diet on people on this low calorie diet, less than half of them were able to achieve remission. So somebody tells you that everybody with diabetes can be reversed, it is not true, because even with such severe caloric restriction, less than half the people were able to go into remission. Now, if you look at why some people went into remission and others did not in this trial, those who lost only less than 5 kilograms in weight, the remission was only about 3%. Okay. If you lost 5 to 10 kilos, about 20-30% were able to go into remission. And if you lost 15 kilos in weight, almost 86% of people had remission initially. And by the end of 2 years, that also, some of them reversed back, and it came down to 70%. That means about 30% of people, even after 15 kilos weight reduction, were not able to achieve remission. But you can see the point about 15 kilos and why it's very important. That's about 33 pounds. If you lose in weight, you can achieve reversal. So what the direct study concluded was that about half of people who had more than 10 kg weight loss, about 15 kg weight loss, were able to reverse their diabetes. And they were suggesting that the pancreatic beta cells are not dead. You can revive them to some extent by severe caloric restriction and by weight loss. The practice points that I would like you to understand is that irrespective of whether you use very low calorie diet or low carbohydrate diet, you can achieve the remission. There are proponents of the low carbohydrate diet. They say only by low carbohydrate diet you can achieve that. No, even by low calorie diet you can achieve it. But the difficulty is in maintaining it. You may achieve remission, but then you may go back and then lose all that you have achieved. Also, you'll be able to get that only in a targeted population. Not everyone you will be able to reverse the diabetes. A very important point. Who are the people in whom remission is possible? If it is implemented within 6 years of diagnosis of diabetes, and ideally within 2 years, that means just after diagnosis, your beta cells are still working. That is a time when you can reverse. In those who don't have very high sugars, it may be possible. Those who are not taking too many medicines, it may be possible. Males respond better. Those who have some beta cell function, you have to have beta cell function, otherwise you won't be able to reverse. And those who have less fat in the abdomen, and of course you must be highly motivated, good mental health, otherwise you will not be able to reverse. So it is not for everyone. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So effectiveness beyond 2 years, there is no evidence today. Maximum they've shown is up to 2 years. Okay. And it's not been studied. For example, in Indians, we don't have a proper study showing that it is possible. And final point I want to tell you is re-reversal of diabetes also occurs in a large percentage of people. I showed you that they go back to normal glucose tolerance. They can again come back to the diabetic stage. And I'd like to talk about this diabetes re-reversal because nobody I know has talked about this. And let me illustrate this with a case study. Mr. C was a 35-year-old gentleman who came to me. He had 6 years of diabetes. Initially, we treated him with tablets and insulin also because sugar was very high. Then we put him on a low calorie and low carbohydrate diet. He lost a lot of weight and he was very happy because he achieved reversal or remission of diabetes. He stopped all medicines and he was still under remission. Let me show you his, let me see what happened to him. When he came to us, he had 123 kilos in weight. Slowly it became 118, 116, 102, 99. So you can see he has lost about 24 kilos in weight over a period of about 2.5 years. He went on losing that. What happened was, that's when he achieved reversal. You can see the HbA1c. It was 8.4, 7.7, then 5.6, then 5.4. So as he lost weight, his HbA1c also became normal. He stopped all his medicines and he said he was cured. Okay. What happened to sugars? Fasting sugar came down from 293 to 110. The fasting came down from 132 to 89. Postprandial sugar came down from 293 to 110. So you can see 89, 110, all normal sugars. He had abnormal liver function test because he had a lot of fat in the liver, and his SGOT and SGPT were both very high. And both the SGOT and SGPT came down to complete normal. That means his liver function became normal. At this point, he said, now I'm cured, and therefore I'm going to forget about my diabetes. We warned him. He said, no, don't do this because re-reversal can occur. He said, no, I'm cured now. He went to social media, went everywhere and said, I'm cured. He went on boasting about it. Okay. We called him for review. Please come after 2-3 months. Let's see what's happening to you. He said, no, I'm cured. Why should I come for follow-up? Simply you all are calling me. My diabetes is reversed. He didn't come back for 9 months. At the end of 9 months, when he came back, what happened was he had gained about 13 kilos in weight. He had still not gone back to his original weight, but he has already gained 13 kilos. Just imagine, if he had come 2 months later, he would have been 100 or something. We would have definitely brought him down. But because he didn't come for 9 months, he had gained 12 kilos in weight. What happened to his HbA1c? HbA1c, remember, it was 5.4. Remember, at the worst time, he had only 8.4. Now it is 9.6. Why? Because first of all, he gained weight. Second, he started eating sweets and started doing everything. He said, I'm cured. In that euphoria that he had, he went completely overboard and the HbA1c became 9.6%. Okay. Look at the sugars. Earlier, it was only 293, 132 and 293. Now it's become 247 and 321. He has never had such bad blood sugars in his life. Look at the liver function test. At the worst time, he had only 61 and 94. Normal is less than 35 or 40. Okay. Now it's gone to 152 and 66. All the fat has come back in the liver again. The fat which went away has again come back in the liver. So this is an example of what I call as re-reversal of diabetes, a term which I have coined. And this is a re-reversal of diabetes. You may ask me, is this the only case you've seen? I've seen so many such patients who come to me and say, I'm cured, I tried this diet, that diet, paleo diet, keto diet, this diet, that diet. Every time they're trying some new diet, okay? And with everything they claim success. The problem is that 3 months later, 6 months later, 1 year later, they've completely lost it. I've seen some patients up to 2 years they managed. Then they could not, and they let loose, and then so this re-reversal of diabetes happens very, very often. How many times have you seen on social media somebody coming and saying, I had reversed my diabetes, but now I've got it back? Nobody says it. They'll only show the before and after pictures, like you see in the weight loss clinic. Oh, I was like this, I became like this. Did anybody come back and tell you afterwards I again gained the weight? They don't tell you that. They feel ashamed and they won't tell you that. But we can tell you the truth because they're supposed to tell you the truth. So to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, these are my take-home points for you. Diabetes is reversible in some people with type 2 diabetes. Only in some people. Even in the direct trial, even 50% could not reverse. Okay. And that too only if you lose 15 kilos in weight. And that 15 kilos has been maintained. Weight loss has been maintained forever, which is very difficult. The correct term is remission, not reversible, because only gone to remission can come back. It's like a cancer. Goes into remission, the cancer can come back anytime. Even after 10, 20 years can come back. Type 1 diabetes is not reversible. I hear some people even in social media saying, we will reverse type 1 diabetes. Please don't do this. Please don't play with the lives of young children. You can kill them. Okay. So please don't attempt reversal of type 1 diabetes. It's not possible as we speak today. Even in type 2 diabetes, re-reversal occurs very often. It's very important to maintain weight loss and continue the diet and exercise even by those who have achieved remission. Most importantly, please keep coming back to us. We're very happy if your diabetes goes away. Don't think we'll be very sad if your diabetes goes away. We are all working for that only. We have committed our whole life only to help you. So if you reverse your diabetes, nobody will be happier than me and my colleagues. Okay. So please come back to see the diabetologist and the doctor regularly to monitor your health. Because remember, you might have gone on some crazy diet. You might have achieved remission, but your lipids may have gone up. Your cholesterol may have gone up. Your LDL may have gone up. Heart blocks may occur. And ultimately, you may die due to some other complication. Okay. So please don't stop coming to the doctor. just because you have achieved reversal of diabetes. Reversal of diabetes is in most cases temporary only. If you have achieved longer, I am very happy for you. If for many years you have achieved it, you're one of the few, and I wish to congratulate you. But even then, don't stop going to the doctor. So with that, I will stop here, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
it's time now. I better go. I'll stop here. I'm
Okay,
not
sir.
doing the next video now because it's 12:15. I have to join. Okay. So
Okay.
these two you take. Next one I'll do on HbA1c, either in the evening or tomorrow.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
do this one. These two are very, very
Okay.
important videos. You have to boost them like mad. And I will tell you, once you prepare it, put in the thing, show somebody who's thin becoming thin, again putting on weight, dramatize it, so that all this
Yes,
will
sir.
become very powerful video. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
sure, sir.
I'm leaving now. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
ஹரி, நான் இங்க
sir.
சவுண்ட் கம்மி பண்ணி வச்சிட்டேன் சார். ஹரி, எனக்கு தெரியல.
ஓ,
எனக்கு எப்படி தெரியும்?
இல்ல எனக்கு என்ன ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா, என்னோட வைஃபை வந்துட்டு கொஞ்சம் மொக்கையான வைஃபை இங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே.
அதுதான் வந்து